Hi, Year Fours. I'm going to be running through your last writing session of the week for this week. Before we start, though, I suppose you guys have probably watched a few videos this week, but I just wanted to say from me, a big welcome back to Term 2. Obviously, guys, it's a little bit different at the moment. I don't get to look out and see all of you guys in the classroom, and you guys are in a different position where you're at home rather than having your own classroom teacher at the front of the room. Look, we will all get through it together. We're all trying really, really hard, as I'm sure you guys are trying really hard and being accountable for your own learning at home. So we're looking forward as teachers to seeing all of the really, really good learning tasks that I'm sure you'll upload across the week. We are going into writing, so I'm going to share my screen here so we can have a bit of a look at it and get through our learning intention, etc. So our learning intention for today. We are learning to compose a piece of We are learning to compose a persuasive piece of writing that will convince our audience. In order to be successful today, these are the two things that you need to be saying to yourself. I know what persuasive language is. And secondly, I can add evidence to support my opinion. We're going to go through a couple of examples of those in a second, and then we're going to go through how to write an introduction as well as a first paragraph for today. When we're using persuasive language, we want to be as persuasive as we can be. Because if we're not as persuasive as we can be, then our piece can sometimes sort of almost fall down a little bit, or it can be very confusing to a reader because they don't know what to believe. So I've got three examples here. I've got 3 dot points. First one there says, I think we shouldn't have homework. So if you're writing a piece about homework, that might be a good way to get your point across. But by adding more persuasive language, we can actually make our piece better and more persuasive as we go, so that when our readers read it, they've got more of a chance of going, yes, I believe what that person's writing about, not just, I'm still not quite sure. So as we add more persuasive language, we're going to go to our second point now. I strongly believe that we do not need homework. So it's getting a point across more strongly by using a little bit more persuasive language. If we go down to a third point, though, with a lot of persuasive language, I know that we do not need homework at school, and that it is causing more harm than good. So again, adds that extra bit. So it's still saying roughly the same thing, but the way that we say it sometimes can have a large effect on the way that our reader reads it and how persuasive we are, meaning how much chance we've got of our reader actually understanding what we're trying to say. In the same way as we add evidence to our writing, evidences are things that back up our writing. They back up what we say. It's not just us saying, the sky's red. We need to be able to actually add evidence to add things to our writing. So first one we're going to do is, homework is not very fun, which again, gets your point across, but as we add evidence, it makes our writing more interesting to read and helps our reader to side with us as well. The second point there, homework takes a long time and is not overly enjoyable. So adding more evidence, the fact that homework isn't enjoyable. The third point though adds a lot of evidence. Homework takes valuable time away from students being able to develop real relationships with their friends and with their family. So as we add more evidence to our piece, we're able to try and convince our reader more and more as we go. And that's what we're going to be trying to do for today. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into what we call a triple imagine introduction. As we go into a triple imagine introduction, I know it's a bit of a weird title, but I'll explain how it works in a second. I'm going to have a go at writing my first paragraph. I've also got a large black arrow there. It just says make sure to use your planner. So to do today's session, you will need a planner because obviously we plan all of our pieces of writing before we start writing them. So as we go into our Microsoft Word document, so hopefully your guys will look very similar to what I've got up here. Your planner might be a little bit bigger or smaller, that's okay. But we want our planner at the top because we need our planner today because that's what we're going to be using to write all of our pieces. What we're going to do, as like I said earlier, we're going to write a triple imagine introduction today. Now, triple imagine means that we're going to use the word imagine 3 times. So we're going to have a 4-sentence introduction. The first 3 sentences are going to begin with the word imagine. Now, our title at the top is the same as Melanie went through with you guys yesterday. Anzac Day Memorial Service should be compulsory for all people to attend. So we're saying that everybody should attend the Anzac Day service. So I'm going to begin with my introduction. I'm not going to write the word introduction there because I don't need that. We all know it's our introduction and we don't want the first thing that your reader to read will be introduction because they know it's their introduction as well. So I'm going to start with the word imagine. So this is my first imagine of the triple imagine introduction. Imagine, and I'm going to think about something either good or bad, that if we do it, means it's a really good thing for the Anzac Day service. If we don't do it, it's a really bad thing, and people are going to think that we should have to go. So I'm going to go down that path. So I'm going to say, imagine if the people who died at war were not remembered. So you want your reader there to be going, oh, gee, I don't want that to happen. And now we want to think of a couple more to really drive that point home. So I'm going to come up with another one now. Imagine if, and I need to think of another one. Imagine if the families of the people who died at war thought that no one cared about sacrifices that were made. So I've got two imagines now. I've got my first sentence beginning with imagine. I've got my second sentence beginning with imagine. I now need one more sentence beginning with imagine, and then I'm going to show you how to wrap it all up at the end. So my last one here, imagine if people in Australia didn't care about the Anzac legacy. So I've got three imagines now saying, imagine if this happened, and you want your reader going, oh, that'd be bad. Imagine if this happened. Oh, wow. Imagine if this happened. And go, oh. Then our last sentence, we're going to wrap all of that up. This could all be avoided if we just made Anzac Day service compulsory for all Australians. And that's my introduction. It's a 4-sentence introduction. Imagine, 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 and then you wrap it up at the end. Now, going to my first paragraph, and similarly to the way that I didn't write introduction before, I'm not going to write first paragraph here. I'm just going to go straight into my first paragraph, because as my reader reads it, that's what's going to make my piece flow really, really well. Now, this is the bit where you really need your planner. So I've got my planner at the top of my screen. I'm going to go to the first argument today. So the first argument that we played with Melanie yesterday is that we need to support those who lost loved ones. So I need to turn that into a sentence. I don't really want to just write, Anzac Day is important because we should support those who lost loved ones. I want to try and elaborate on that a little bit. I want to try and add some information so when my reader reads it, they really side with me. I'm going to begin by saying the first argument, we need to make Anzac Day, and I'll put a capital D for Anzac Day because remember it's the name of the day as a whole. The Anzac Day service compulsory is that it will support people who have lost loved ones. I've done my argument here. I've introduced my argument. I'm now going to go down to my supporting details. So this is where the evidence part, so think back to the PowerPoint that we did at the start of the session. We really want to add some evidence. We really want to add some persuasive language in here because that's what's going to make it really, really effective. So our first point here, many people lost family members. So I now need to put that into a bit of a larger sentence. There were many people who lost members in the world wars at Gallipoli and other places where battles were fought. And there are people who will lose people in their family that they care about today. So I've elaborated on that a little bit. Our second point here, support for those families. So we want to make sure that we're supporting those families. It is important to show support for those families so that they know that people in their families die for no reason. We appreciate their sacrifice. I'm now going to go to my third point, that it donates money to the RSL. By everyone attending the Anzac Day service, it will raise money for the RSL. I'm going to use brackets here. So the RSL, some of my readers may not know what the RSL is. So I'm going to say that it's the Returned Servicemen's League. The fact that it will raise money for the RSL, which means that it will support those families Anzac Day. Now, I've got a lot of information there. You guys don't need as much information as I've got, but the important things that you need today are your introduction. We have 3 imagine sentences and then your wrap-up sentence. So you've got your first sentence with imagine, your second sentence with imagine, your third sentence with imagine, and then here is how it links really well to my point. And then you've got a 4-sentence first paragraph as well. So you've got the introduction to your topic. You've then got your first sentence, your second sentence, and your third sentence of supporting details, totaling 4 sentences all up. Hopefully that makes sense. We're really, really looking forward to seeing what you guys write. So please make sure that you do all of your tasks and upload them to Compass so that your teacher can have a look, because I know that all of your teachers are really, really excited to see what you guys come up with. You guys are now going to go into your independent reading. So you have 15 minutes of independent reading. If there is anything that you need to come back and have a look at, please make sure that you do. There's the video here. You can rewatch it again if you need to. From me, though, have a great weekend, guys. If I don't see you, which I guess I probably won't, yeah, enjoy.